Hello everyone again. Welcome. We should wait for a couple of minutes more. Maybe someone else may come. So in 2 minutes we'll start. Thank you. So I think that we can start. First of all, can you hear me? Because I didn't take any response. Okay, I'll take it that, as yes. So thank you once again for joining us in seventh webinar and welcome. My name is Dionis Kapetanos and I'm here to assist you in technical moderator. For those who participate for first time in our webinars, let me briefly explain some things about our project, where the Cultural Footprint Project is an entrepreneurial project for emerging artists who actually they're willing and they are eager to develop an enterprising mindset and create their own enterprising ideas among young artists. Actually, the project is based on 4 steps, and we aim to help them to realize their first enterprising idea. So, our first step is to inspire them and to teach them some practical skills. And also, we aim to assist them and provide them some mentoring programs. And our last step is to provide them the network and show them new horizons and the opportunities that they have while developing their own enterprising ideas. So about our today's webinar, it's about the module number 7, and it's about how to get your finances sorted. Let me go through what you will see during this webinar. First of all, um, give me a second, please, because some more people are coming. Hello, welcome. So, as I was telling you, aims of our today training are to, first of all, to provide an understanding on financial management, the financial planning, and the financial documents that you'll need starting your own enterprising idea. Also to provide an of understanding on existing methods to price your art, which is very important, of course. The third aim of today's webinar is to provide a guidance on the financial goals that you can set for your business and other financial aspects that you should consider before doing anything, of course. And the last one is to provide a hands-on tips to you and in order to get your finances sorted with confidence. Also, some general rules that you might know, but for those who are attending for the first time, let me tell you that the meeting is recorded according with the GDPR. And for this reason, you should know that I have started recording. And if you don't want to, you have to turn off your cameras. And also, this also applies to the screenshots that will be taken later during the webinar, which are about some promotional purposes. Also, it's very important to know that I will share with you in a couple of minutes the attendance list that you have to fill in with your personal data, as I will show you in a while. And also at the end of the webinar, I will share with you an evaluation form in which I would like you to complete with your feedback. That is actually very important for us and for the trainer as well. So as I was telling you, this is the attendance list that I will share with you in a while when I will stop talking, and I will explain you what I would like you to fill in because you have to do it actually to after the completion of all webinars to receive your certifications. This is about the evaluation form that I was telling you, that I will share with you at the end to give us our feedback and some rules of communication. I'll go through very fast. Your microphone should be muted during the session, unless you have anything to ask, or you are willing to provide any feedback to the trainer, or if you have any question. And also, the meeting must be recording, as I told you, during the implementation. And also, some screenshots will be followed. And maybe you'll ask to turn on your cameras also. And as I tell you, if you don't want to appear in the recorded, you can also keep your cameras turned off. Please make sure that you have written your name to properly, and also according with your name you have provided during registration, and you'll sign the attendance list. Actually, the attendance list requires to provide us your signature. But in any case, if you don't have your signature, if you cannot upload it on the list, you can just write again your full name as a signature. Is that okay for us? There is no problem. But in any case, if you have any question, you can chat me, and I will text you back, and I will provide anything that you need. And lastly, our today's agenda is very clear that in the first part, Monica here will introduce the financial management and planning, while a 10 minutes break will be followed, and the last part of our agenda is pricing and financial goals. So enough for me. I will share with you right now the attendance list and the chat. Please fill in. And Monica, I'll stop sharing my screen, and the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Shall I give you a couple of minutes so everyone can fill in the attendance list?
Yes, sure. Okay, we can do that. Thank you. So I just shared it with you. For any reason, if something is not clear, if the link is not opening to you, please send me a message. Yes, I just did, Ellen. So if anything came up, please let me know. Yes, I can fill it for you, but I will need your data. If someone else has problem to open the link, so maybe it's the link's fault, not your fault. Hello, Francesca. I want to share once again the link, but in any case, you can write me your names and I'll do it for you. Thank you. Yeah, I got it. Hello everyone. For those that just came, we are ready to start. We're writing now and completing the participation list. If you have any problem, please let me know. And Monica, I think that we are ready to start when you are ready. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. Let me just share my screen. Yes. Can everyone see my screen now? Perfect. Okay, so good afternoon, almost evening, everyone. My name is Monica, as um, I was already introduced. Today, I will be talking to you all about your finances. And uh, yeah, it's gonna be, I would say, one of the most boring topics, you know, you would go through in this program, but I'll try to make it as interesting as possible. So yeah, but I understand that all of you are artists, but in this case, um, I will call you entrepreneurs since you want to start, selling your art and getting profit and money from it. So when I talk about entrepreneurs, I'm talking about you. Um, does anyone have any questions before we start? Perhaps questions about what we're going to go through or questions about me? I guess not. Okay, perfect. So, um, as already mentioned, we will go through several topics. Uh, it's the basics of finance that you all need to know before you start your enterprise or before you start selling your art. We'll go through what is financial management, why is it important, um, things like the financial plan, what consists within the financial plan, such as the different uh, income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. How to price your art, which is obviously very, very important for you all. I would also like to know more about, financial goals, and I will give you some financial tips in the end. So, I would say let's just start to what is financial management. Basically, financial management is a business function that deals with investing the available financial resources that you have so you can get a greater business success and a greater ROI. So if someone has, for example, invested in your art or your business, perhaps your parents or I don't know, a mentor, then the most of the times these people would want a return on of investment. So yeah, basically it's the money back that they can get from investing in your business. Financial management is very important because it helps manage your business decisions in the present and in the future. Bad financial management would cost you everything in your business, basically, could make or break your business. Um, you can get access to your money easier if you have good financial management, knowing where your money, how your money is allocated, and where your money is being stored uh, allows you to, know where your money is, basically. And as I said, it shows potential investors that you understand your finances. So for example, once you become a big shot artist and you want an investor to invest in you and your art, you need to be able to show them that you understand your finances, how money is coming in at the moment, where do you see yourself in a year or two, or even 5 to 10 years? How can these investors get their money back and more? Um, and having good financial management is a good decision-making tool to make financial considerations. So whether you have to sell more art this year to be able to make profit, or whether you have to, slow down on buying materials because, now the expenses are higher than your revenue, things like that. So within financial management, you need to have a financial plan. A financial plan is an overview of your current business financials, the financial goals you have right now and in the future, and the necessary steps to take in order to achieve those goals. It's basically an outline of your financial status. It shows your projections of growth, how much money you're making this year, how much money you're making next year, and so on. It can aid in business goal setting, so not only financial goals, but also other goals. Um, as said in the next point with the matrix setting, it provides proof for profitable ideas. It will show you whether this side of the business or this um, part of what you're doing is profitable or not, whether you have to move to another side, maybe change a bit of what you're doing in order to make profit. Um, it also shows how sustainable a business idea is. And we will go through that. I will tell you how you can do that. And a financial plan is concrete at this moment, but it also has to be flexible. So, you don't know what's happening in 3 months, 6 months, or even a year. So you need to make it as flexible as possible. You need to have a certain amount of money where you can make it as a buffer. So if you don't, for example, make profit within 6 months, then you need that buffer to, allow that possible life change. Okay, now let's get into how to create a financial plan. Um, you would need relevant documents to paint the picture of your current financial situation. So I would assume right now you are working on, from your personal bank account. If I'm wrong, correct me. If you already have a business bank account, then that's great. But if you only have your personal bank account and you're, you know, spending money for your business there, then you need to uh, use what I use is I use an Excel sheet. I jot down all my expenses, whether it's, things like groceries or rent, anything, coffee, dinner, out for dinner with friends, things like that, but also the things that I spend on my business. So currently um, I own a short form content agency. So the things like if I have to buy a subscription to, let's say, an editing software, or I have to pay my editors, or I have to pay my virtual assistants, those things I also put in a separate sheet on the same Excel sheet, so then I can see how much money I am bringing in from my job, how much money I'm bringing in from my business, and how much money is going out. So I would suggest you all to do that as well, so you know how much is your expenses, both for your personal and your business. And you would also want to make a strategic plan. What I mean by strategic plan is where do you see yourself? What do you want in the future? And, make smaller goals that you can easily reach. For example, next month I want to, within the next 6 months, I want to sell one piece of my art or two pieces. Or I want to be, I want my art to be hanging in some gallery somewhere. So yeah, make those plans, make it as smart as possible. And you also want to create financial projections. So things like how much money do you want to make in a year? Profit. Plan for contingencies. What if something goes wrong? What if you don't make that plan? What if you don't meet that goal in 6 months that you sell one piece of your art? You have to plan for that. What if, say you want in 6 months to sell 5 pieces? What if you only sell 3 and you don't meet that financial goal that you set yourself? Once you have the financial plan, you should put the financial plan into practice. So stick to it, but also make sure, as I said before, to be flexible and be flexible to all the changes that life may throw at you, because you truly, as an entrepreneur, you never know what will come. And I would suggest every 6 months to monitor and adjust your financial plan, see where you are at that point, if you need to make any changes. If you meet your goals, then that's great. Then you can perhaps adjust your financial projections. If you see a trend going up, chances are, when you see it in a way that you want, that it keeps on going up, that you keep on making money. But at the same time, in a business, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes there are months that things just go downhill. So if you create a financial projection and you meet it in 6 months, and say we are in April, May 2024, and you're adjusting your financial plan, be smart when you are adjusting your financial projections. Make sure you have that buffer, as I told you before. Don't be eager, but don't be too eager. Yeah. So, parts of a financial plan that you need to know. The first one is an income statement. So what is an income statement? An income statement is a document that includes information on profit and loss over a specific period. So you can do this monthly, quarterly, biannually, or annually. And you need information such as your revenue, your expenses, your gains and losses, and from there you can get your net income. Basically, your net income is your profit. You want your revenue to be higher than your expenses, so you get a positive net income. Because if you're in a negative, you are in a bit of a trouble. That's how, you see it in the simplest way possible. And because you're starting, we should start in the simplest way possible, because we can go into, income statement and make it very, very confusing, which we will not. But yeah. In the next slide, I will show you how it looks. So, for example, here's a small example revenue. If you sell your art, how much money you get from that, you put it in right there. And then if you, for example, have a course or you host a workshop, you also put that in, just without, before you even pay for the place that hosts the workshop or food that you provide during the workshop, just the money you get in. And then you sum it all up, you put it in the total revenue, and then you go into expenses. So the cost you have spent to make your art, for example. And then rent would be the rental of the hosting place of where you did your workshop. And if you have your own transportation, if you have your own transportation, for example, then you would want to put that in as well as an expense, even though you normally use your car for, buying groceries or whatnot. Please put that into your business income statement if you use it for work. And then you sum it all up again. If you have extra money from last time, from last month or last quarter, you put it on gains. If you have less money and you're owing people, put it on losses. And you add the revenue and the gains together, the expenses and the losses together, and you find a difference between that. So as I will say it again, you want the revenue to be higher than your expenses. Always, always. The next part of a financial plan that we will go through is balance sheets, which is quite similar to an income statement, but has quite a bit more things within it. So it helps you see where you stand right now. Normally, a balance sheet is done annually, but at the end of the year, and you will have it around January, complete, and it provides a snapshot of your financial position, both what you own as what you owe. There are three aspects to be taken into account: your assets, your liabilities, and equity. The assets, I will show you, but the assets need to be listed on the left side of the balance sheets, the liabilities on the right, and the total amount of total assets and total liabilities should, be balanced, which is why it's called a balance sheet. And okay, we'll go through it. For assets, for example, if you have cash in your bank account for your business, so do not put cash that's for your life, your day-to-day life. Sorry, someone is in front of the door. I will open the door. I'll be back. Okay, I am back. Okay, as I said, do not put money that you have to spend on your day-to-day life, like groceries, rent, whatnot, on this balance sheet, please only put the money you will spend for your business, because if you mix both personal and business, it will be very, very confusing for you in the end. So temporary investment would be like, I don't know what art you guys are into. So for example, if you have a workshop that you share with other artists, you would put it, well, that would be put in the long-term investment. So temporary investment, we'll see. What's a good example? Does anyone have a good example for temporary investment? Because I don't know what art you guys are doing.
Maybe acrylic colors, because that you need now.
Yeah, so acrylic paint would be inventory or supply, because yeah, so things like your canvas, watercolor paper, that would be the things you need for inventory. So for example, let's just say you're a cook, and your inventory would be, you know, the food, the fruits, the vegetables, but things like your pots, pans, knives would be a long-term investment. So yeah. For liabilities, it's the things you have to pay. So, for example, taxes, which we will kind of talk about later. So, interest, if you have any loans, revenue that, you know, you need to pay off still. If you have an investor and you have to pay them monthly, or if you have employees or whatnot that you have to pay, that would fall under liabilities. So as I said before, it's called a balance sheet. That's why both assets and liabilities need to be balanced. Okay, last part of the financial plan that is important would be a cash flow statement. This document shows where the money is coming from and where it's going. It tells us exactly when the money went into an account and out of the account. So this would be done normally monthly, because it is useful to look to be used in the cash flow forecast. So the cash flow, we will not go into the cash flow forecast, but I can tell you a bit about it. So the cash flow forecast is a forecast. You will see, normally you do it at the start of the year for 6 months, and then it will show you with the money you have now and then the average expenses and everything that you see from the data you have from your previous financial cash flow statements. You can see how much the money you have in your bank account can last. So it will tell you, for example, within 3 months you'll be in the red. So you will be broke, basically. Or it will tell you that if you don't start making money in a certain amount of month, then your business is not going well. Or it could also show that your business is going really well, and I don't know if you guys watch like things like Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. You know, the investors normally ask how much money are you going to make this year in total? And that's how normally the businesses will go back into their cash flow forecast, and then that's how they got the number, basically. Oh, there is a good note there. A negative cash flow does not necessarily mean that your financial performance is or was bad. Sometimes your incoming profit might be good, but there's just little money in the bank to pay off debts. But yeah, that's true. But I would suggest to, make sure that everything is unbalanced, and because you don't want to fall back or fall behind in your finances. It's not a great feeling. So make sure you're always in the black. If you have to take out loans, do think about how many months you can pay it off. So do not pay it off for years after years after years, but pay it off as soon as possible, but still keep you in black. So yeah, basically this is how a cash flow statement will look like. So this is the money you have, this is the money that goes out, and then you want a net cash flow. So it's basically the same as an income statement, it just looks different. This is your income, your revenue, this is your expenses, and you want this to be as much as possible black or positive. Now, the fun part. Pricing. Pricing refers to the amount of money paid by a customer to purchase a good or service. It's important, especially for you as an entrepreneur, because there seems to be a thin line between overpricing and undervaluing your work. And as an artist, sometimes you think that maybe your art isn't that good, but people do think so. That's why you undervalue your work. Or sometimes because you have spent so much time on this certain piece, you overprice it, but the demand isn't there. Tips and tricks to keep in mind when you price your work. Keep emotions out of it. Understand how the customer sees value in your work. So understand the demand of your customer. In my line of work, basically, we have to put ourselves in our customer's shoes, see what works for our clients based on what the customers are watching and what doesn't. Set prices according to what the customer gets out of it. So see where put yourself in your customer's shoes, basically. And look at your uniqueness. What is unique about you as an artist? So yeah, what makes you different than other? Say you're a painter. What makes you different than other painters, other young artists out there? And it shouldn't just be, oh, I do this certain thing. I do this. I use this certain material, because there are many other artists that probably use the same material as you are around the world. So look at things like what makes you unique, whether it's the story behind the piece of art, the piece of arts that you have created, or for example, Let's take Frida Kahlo. It's a painting of herself. That's unique. Or I can't remember his name right now, but he makes these doodles. Looks like a human. Andy. Let's forget about it. Yeah. So the two methods you can use to guide as a guidance to pricing is one, cost plus pricing. It's basically you add up all your expenses and you can choose to divide this into fixed and variable cost or monthly cost, depending on what your goals are, and determine how many pieces of art you want to sell. So for example, in a month you want to sell 4 pieces. Easy. 1 a week. And you spend, I don't know what's normal for artists, 500 euros a month for all your expenses. So that would be 125 euros as a basis. And always mark up your price. So 125 euros would be just base on your expenses, and that's how you can keep yourself afloat, pay off your rent, pay off the materials, everything. But you also want to make profit. So always mark up your work. I would suggest around 15 to 20%, but depending on the demand of your customers, you can always go for more. So yeah, the normal baseline is for, at least in what I do, is 15 to 20%. Another strategy could be comparison pricing. So look at other artists with similar works as yours. So for example, if you're an oil painter, look at other oil painters in your area or in your country. See how much they're putting their prices at. Keep in mind, if you don't have for example, your work of art in a gallery or yet, do not put yourself in the same level as those artists that has their art in a gallery, because obviously the gallery would give a price that are probably much higher than what the artist sets the price is at. So yeah, as I said, you can do some research based on your geography, the type or style of your art, and match your accomplishments. That's important. Before we get into financial goals, does anyone have any questions? No? Okay.
Monica, sorry for interrupting you. In any case, if you need any break, we can do it now, we can do it later, as you wish.
I was gonna ask whether we will have this PowerPoint for later, whether we can keep, because I'd like to, I'm taking notes, but I'd like to have the PowerPoint also.
Dionysius, do you know?
Yes, you would like to share it with you?
Yes, please.
Yes, I can do it. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay. No one needs a break? Perfect. Let's get into the fun stuff. At least I think it's the fun stuff. Financial goals. So, think about your career goals with a solid financial strategy. And from there, you can set yourself up for success and ensure that the ability to achieve your dreams without facing unnecessary financial hurdles. There are three different types of time frames when you want to think about your financial goals. The first one is a short-term, 12-month period. So where do you see yourself in a year? So, for example, think about, taking a vacation in a year at the end of the year in 2024, or buying a new piece of equipment, or even, having your own workshop, for example, where you can just paint or do whatever, or paying off, for example, if you have your own apartment with your own workshop that you paid for and you want to pay that off, that's also a short-term goal. Medium is 1.5 to 3.5 years. So, for example, buying a car, finishing a degree or certification. And long-term is over a 5-year period. So think about your retirement, or buy your own home, or yeah. So how do you set your financial goals? I mentioned this before. Keep the SMART technique: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely manner. And I think if you join the previous, some of the previous modules, someone has already mentioned it before. So you can also apply that to your financial goals. So first things first, figure out what matters to you. Whether it's selling off your art, a couple pieces of your art within the next year, or getting your own, going on a holiday purely based on your profit from selling your art. Figure out, divide these goals on the time frame that I mentioned, sort out what can be achieved quickly. Create a realistic budget. You can do that with the help of the cash flow statement. Determine how much money you need to reach your goal. That's always important. And as I said again about the buffer, I'm a big believer of buffers. Please always have a buffer. Because, inflation is real. And you just want to be smart. Always have a buffer. There is no, if you say you want to spend 1,000 euros on vacation by in November, December 2024. You don't know what's going to happen in a year, so make sure to have at least 1,500 or 2,000, just so you're safe. Yes, Iman. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. Buffers always saves your ass. Yep. Okay. Put the budget and the goals next to each other and see how you can reach the goals. Always have savings aside from your buffer. Because your savings, it will save you in times of need. Sometimes you don't even realize that you need it, and it's always nice to have extra money. Just like, when you're cleaning out your room and you suddenly find 20 euros, 50 euros in an old jacket. Feels great, right? And always monitor your progress. Whether it's a short-term goal or a long-term goal, always make sure that, you're going in the right way. You're getting there. You're not falling behind or, putting your priorities in a different in something else. And it's fine if your goals change. Uh, as you grow up, your goals change. It's a fact. For example, in 6 months, say you don't want to take a holiday anymore. That's okay. But then, maybe set another short-term goal for the end of the year, whether it's, I don't know, getting your parents a nice Christmas present or taking them out for dinner, a nice dinner. So yeah. It's nice to think about the bigger goals, stuff you want to have in the future in 5+ years, but start small. And when you think about those bigger goals, always plan, yearly. So in 10 years time, you want to have, in 5 years time, let's say, you want to have your own studio. Then the little goals would be like, okay, I need to save up a certain amount of money every year or every month to get the savings to pay a down payment for a studio or for an apartment, things like that. Taxes. Now, I am not a tax person, and tax regulations are different from country to country, even though everyone here lives in the EU. So always check the laws and regulations in your own country and get advice or get an advice from from a professional, which is what I suggest you to do. I was actually talking about taxes with a colleague of mine. He also owns his agency in Denmark, and I just found out that their taxes are 40 something percent. So I'm very thankful where and how much taxes I have to pay. So make sure, you also think about the taxes, how if you make money from your company, from your art, to set aside money for taxes before you think about your goals. Keep good record of all receipts, no matter how small. Keep it. If you have an accountant, they would know what to do. Yeah. And set up a separate checking account and credit card for art-related matters. If that works for you, I would suggest you to do it. If you need, I know here in the Netherlands, I believe it's quite difficult to get to open up a business bank account because you need your tax number and everything. But if you can do it, do it. Separate the money you have for personal life and the money you use for business. Deposit all the income into your checking account, the income you make from your art. If you spend money on classes or workshops for yourself, so you're not hosting classes or workshops, you're taking these classes and workshops, you, depending on the country, I believe, but it's considered part of continuing your education, so you should be able to get a tax exemption. Is that the word? Yeah. But do not quote me on anything about taxes. Tip number 5, I would suggest you to do, find a professional accountant, because they know more about all of this. They can help you get out of sticky situations with the tax office. And yeah, it's the smart thing to do, basically. And I understand that accountants are expensive, but it's worth the money. It's worth the money. Okay, last financial tips to make dealing with your finances easier. No one in the okay, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, let's put it that way. No, not one of us like to spend time on our finances. We don't like going through the numbers. Of course, when it's going really well, it's nice to see good numbers, but we don't like spending time on it. So always set up a weekly finance time, whether it's every Friday for 2 hours after lunch. But I would suggest if you do it, then do it on a Monday. Start the week off with the things you hate most. Separate your personal and professional finances, as I mentioned before. Know when to ask for help or raise your prices. So, yeah. Do not wait too long to learn about your finances, which is why we're all here. Advocate for yourself. If people say, okay, there's a thin line between advocating for yourself and overpricing your art. But if there are people who want to buy your art for that certain amount of money, there's no reason for you to settle. So always know what you're worth, basically. And if you have grants in your country that you can apply for it. My motto is, the worst thing they can say is no. The worst thing they can do is not give you the money. So just try, but be smart about it. Always be smart in all of your business choices, basically. Okay, so I have some exercises for you guys. If you guys would like to have a 5-minute break to grab a drink or go to the toilet or something. Does anyone need a break?
The question is, Monica, if you need a break, because
Oh, I'm fine.
okay. So I think that we can continue and we can finish earlier.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we can get some people to start talking, because after 45 minutes of hearing myself talk, I'm bored of hearing myself, and I'm sure you guys are too. Okay. Break, please, Yana said. Okay, we can have a break.
We can do it, yes. Thank you, Yana. So 5 minutes break for all of us, and see you in a while. I think we're back. For those who are asking about the slides, of course, I can share with you. I will send you as soon as we close the meeting via your email. And also, I'm sending you right now the link of our project website where you can find more information and updates about any news of the project. You can find also the entire module there, both theoretical parts and the technical. So yes, the link for our website is available for you in the chat. Monica, if you're ready, we can continue, please.
Perfect. Yes. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a nice short break. Yeah, I want to start a discussion with our first exercise. So, you know, you don't have to answer all of the questions, but let's see what's interesting. How many ways can I earn money from my art business? So does anyone want to answer that? You can just raise up your hand and tell us a little bit about what your art business is and answer the question. Yes, Artemis?
So I'm with a friend of mine organizing to produce 2 fanzines. So we're currently researching the finance aspect of how much it'll cost, what types of papers, and how much we will be selling them for, and where we can sell them.
Okay. You and your friend are looking into selling fanzines?
Yeah, it's a little self-published booklets art.
I see. Okay. So how many ways do you think you can earn money from that? So aside from selling, so selling those little booklet is one. And then
we could do book binding workshops once we figure out how that works. Also, a lot of the designs function as tattoos. So I have one of her tattoos. She also does stick and poke. So that's one of the ways that the designs can also make money for that. And my fanzines are how to propagate plants cheaply. So I can also sell my plants. So we might have an event sort of thing once we figure the logistics out.
Yeah, that's great ways to earn your money. It's nice. Anyone else that would like to share? No one? No one wants to share what they do? Okay, perhaps I can give an example of mine. So as I mentioned, my business is in short form content, which is basically what you see on TikTok and what you see on Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and those things. So it started off as, helping content creators just posting consistently and, turning attention into profit, generating leads, things like that. But now we are branching out and looking into helping these content creators, coaches, athletes, also create their website, do all their email marketing for them. So basically, do all their back ends, make sure they have a good CRM system. So there are so many ways in which you can earn money from your business. So, for example, if a client of mine decides to work with us through our system, basically, we would be doing all of their back end, which is making sure that everything is going well in terms of sending emails to their leads, or we can also do their finances, making sure that money is going in and money is going out in a way that is balanced, um, uh, among other things. So if a client comes to me and asks and works with me for that, even though, for example, they stop working with me in terms of editing the reels and editing and managing their social media, they will still pay me for managing their back end, because if they stop paying me for that, their whole business will be lost. So, think about things that would help your customers in that way. It kind of sounds manipulative, but but yeah, as a business owner, you want to make money. That is your goal. And you want to make money as long as possible to keep your business running, and it's a fact. So yeah, find a way to be irreplaceable.
Making
Or
something that people need is not mean. We see that every day around us.
yeah, exactly. And yeah. So okay. If anyone else would like to share, perhaps, what do you want to accomplish with your business? Like, have you thought about why you want to start your art business? Because, yes, Artemis.
So obviously to make money, but there's a lot of other ways to make money, and it's sort of a risk. So for me, it's also like finding like-minded people. So in the process of seeing how much I will say that my booklet costs, I found someone else that does something very similar, and that was very fun to me, and we had like a nice interaction. So uh, it kind of also balances out the fact that maybe I won't make money, the personal, fulfillment of it.
Yes. That's a good networking is obviously very important in a business. And it's nice that it's also a reason why you want to start your art business. Uh, so, you will never have enough network in this lifetime, ever. There is no such thing as enough network. And yeah, always build. It's always important to build your network. But for example, I would say think about things that would motivate you in the long term, in the long run. So, for example, making sure your parents retire early, or making sure you retire early. Yeah, I know one of my agency friends, their goal, I believe it's their short-term goal within the next year, they want to make 10,000 euros a month. So, yeah, think about those things that would motivate you on the low days, because starting a business is not always um, sunshine and rainbows. There are days where you wake up in the morning and you don't want to deal with anything. But yeah, it's important to go back to that motivation and be like, oh, yep, that's why I started this business. Yeah, like for me, it's my parents. And yeah, so when I have those days, I call them and then it reminds me of, yeah, okay, this is why I need to work hard. So do think about those stuff. Okay. We'll jump first into exercise 3 and then we can go back to exercise 2 because I want to know, what are your financial goals? Let's not think about long-term goals. Let's talk about the goals for the next year. In 1 year, what do you want to achieve? And how much money, if you know how much money it needs, that would be awesome. Someone, you can also write it down in the chat if you don't dare to speak up, because I would love to know.
What's the question again? Sorry.
What is your financial goal for the next 12 months?
I would say that I would like to make at least like 1,000 per month for starting with something. It would be like 12K per year.
Okay.
Just as an example, to be honest.
And how would you get to 1,000 euros a month?
I think I would. I'm a performer. I'm a dancer and an actor. So I think I could work with galleries or museums, but also with theaters, with my plays. That would be like a way of starting.
Okay. That's a good one. So make sure you think about, aside from thinking about the goals, for example, Jimmy making 1,000 euros a month, think about the steps to get there. So yes, working with galleries and theaters and museums is a way to do it, but think about how would you approach these galleries, these museums, theaters? How do you market yourself in a way that they would be happy to work with you? Because as a dancer, you're selling yourself and your talent. So yeah, think about that. Anyone else? Or maybe I should start calling out people. Let's see.
I want to say something.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe not only these galleries or museums, but I think that also I would like to explore social media like TikTok, for instance, because I think there's a lot of people there that it's not only like regular people, let's say, but also emerging artists and other kind of singers or people that's looking for another or more people to work with. And I think that somehow TikTok could be like a good platform for exposure and find new customers in many ways, because you never know, someone maybe would need you to inaugurate something or to do like a short performance in a party or something similar.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, that's true. TikTok and just short form content in general is booming starting in 2022. So, Jimmy, a short tip for you would be create content that creates value for your followers or whatever followers you want to have. So yeah, create free value, and when you give as much as free value as possible, you get a lot of engagement. You get a lot of people watching you or finding out about you in these platforms, and you can definitely get a job from posting videos on TikTok, as silly as that sounds.
And if I can add something to the to this advice you're giving me, how would you describe that value of the content I would be creating, for instance?
Yeah. Okay. You're a dancer. So the first thing I would post on your TikTok or Instagram as a reel would be just your story, how you get started. Just you can do like just you perhaps doing a finishing up a routine and then going in front of the camera and say, hey, it's Jimmy. I started dancing 5 years ago, and find out like, why did you start dancing, and talk about that. And perhaps, yeah, what do you want to bring to the world through your dance? You can talk about that as well. And then the second thing would be you know, the things, the videos these days that are going viral, or people watch a lot of, is when you're helping other people to learn a skill, so you can do that as well. Yeah, so just go on, for example, follow a lot of dancers, look at the reels they're posting, take example from that, do not copy it exactly, but yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Anyone else? Financial goals for the next 12 months. Let's see. Halina Rosa. Is Halina here? Oh, she's leaving.
Hi. Instead of I left the meeting instead of say hello. Okay, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm very good. And you talk about the financial goal. I am on the way, like I am maybe think about big amount, minimum 1 million crowns I need to fulfill my dreams, actually, because I started to publish my own magazine, and I think about publishing some more things like books, e-guide books. So probably I need a lot of money. I started some years ago. Then I did my business plan, of course, I remember I put 300,000 crowns because I wanted to paint shoes, and I'm still painting, also decoratively dresses and so on. But now I am focused more about the publishing company and printing. So I also think about the maybe some kind of project with dotation. How do you say? Dotation? Support
Mhm.
from the government, for example. So it's a big money for to I want to get, you know, slowly I'm working on it. So I hope I will get it because I'm really serious about my goals. So thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you too.
Okay.
Hmm?
Does anyone else does anyone else want to share? If no one wants to share, we can go to exercise 2, which I hope you know, everyone has been listening all this time because it's a bit of a maths problem. Okay. We will go to exercise 2. So it's a case study of Anna. And in the end, the question is, what price should Anna sell her items for? I will read the case study for you, and I will keep the slide open as well. So Anna is a designer maker. She makes and sells 100 items per year. The raw materials for each item cost £50. She works 40 weeks a year, allowing for holidays and other time off for family commitments, etc. She works 50 hours per week on average. Over the year, half her working time is in designing and making. The other half is doing all the necessary business tasks, such as marketing, bookkeeping, and accounts. Networking, administration, etc. Anna needs to earn at least £15 per hour. Anna's business has fixed costs, which she needs to pay each year, irrespective of the amount of business she does. These items include rent, phones, internet, website maintenance, insurance, professional fees, subscriptions for magazines, transport, and other costs. She also includes depreciation on her equipment each year, even though this is not an obvious business expense. All these overheads, including depreciation, total to £5,000 per year. Anna needs your help to calculate the minimum price she can sell her items for if she is to ensure she does earn at least £15 per hour. So I will go back to the slide because on the next slide, there are some things you can write down. So some notes is think about total number of hours worked per year, the number of hours worked on designing and making, designing, making hours per item. Think about that.
Monica, sorry, can we
Yes.
see the slide with a case study? Because
Yes.
it's not appearing to us. So it will be better, you know, to understand the case study of Anna's. Thank you.
Can you see it now?
It's something like I was doing before. I was painting shoes, so I had to buy shoes, then everything I need. It was like cost. So something I was doing. Actually, I'm still doing it. I'm painting decoratively, so it's like designing also. Like now I'm designing the textile patterns, so it takes time. So you can actually estimate how many hours and how much can cost. Yeah, it's actually very, very good way of pricing. Yeah, per hour, and then how many hours you are working on it, and then you have the price for the item.
Yes.
So
Yes,
it's
Monica.
not
Okay. Now we
yeah,
can see the exercise. Yeah,
yeah.
perfect.
Yes. Is there a question?
I just wanted to answer.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Okay, so at first we have to think that the raw materials over the year cost 5,000, and C works 2,000. I'm not sure if my English are correct. That many hours per year. And in the cost of the raw materials per year, we have to calculate the 15 per hour, which is that. It's the hours per the money she needs to earn.
Okay.
And this plus the raw materials, and we have to she needs to sell 100 items, so I'm not sure how it's called, but we have to η διαίρεση, συγγνώμη, I'm sorry.
Division.
Yes, with that. And she has to sell 300 each item. Am I correct?
Almost. Almost. Does anyone else have another answer? I can give you time to calculate. That's no problem. Is anyone still trying to calculate? Or shall I show you the answer? Okay, I can show you the answer. Okay. So if we go to the next slide. First, we have to figure out the total number of hours worked per year. So we know that she works 40 weeks a year, 50 hours per week. So multiply that, you get 2,000 hours a year that she's working. And we know that half the time she is working on designing and making the dresses, the clothes. So that's 1,000 hours of designing and making. So how many hours does she spend per item in designing and making? 1,000 divided by 100, which is 10 hours per item, right? And then the labor cost is basically the number of hours she spent multiplied by, her minimum wage, which is 10 hours times 15 pounds, which brings you to 150 pounds per item. And then you go into the overheads, the fixed costs, and everything. So all these overheads is 5,000 a year. So 5,000, let's see, let's open a calculator. Okay, so you divide the 5,000 per year by the rest of the 1,000 hours she works. Am I correct? Yes. And then you add 15 pounds, 150 pounds, sorry, for the labor cost, which brings you to 200 pounds. Yes. And then, okay, I will show you. This is easier. I will show you the document. Hello. Okay, can you see my screen? I hope you can see my screen. Okay, let's do this. Yeah. So basically, this is what you saw on the slides. And you have to figure out how much money does Anna need to make so that basically the total cost of each item, so to break even. So someone said 300 pounds, and the correct answer is 400, because okay, what is going on? I hope you can see my screen, because no one is
Yes, we can see.
responding. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I make a screenshot.
Yes, of course. Okay. Does anyone need explanation, Or is the me showing you the answer enough that you understand?
Yeah, I think so. I remember at the beginning it's quite difficult to understand, but later it's easy. Yes. Yeah. With time, you understand that you have to work per hour and then multiply everything. So it's easy to understand for me, for example. It's quite difficult to make everything like this because it's different. Now it's maybe easy, but it was maybe more difficult to write down, calculate. Takes time, also calculation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Also, on this case study, everything is in, whole numbers. But when when you're doing it for your own business, it might not be whole numbers. It might be 5,756 pounds for your indirect costs.
Yes, we usually artists they don't do it. They don't
No.
count. We have only hot passion. It's good to know. Yeah, but sometimes we don't know actually how much your job is worth it. But yeah, I remember many ask, how can I price my job, my art, whatever? The easiest way is to do it per hour if you don't know at the beginning. It's a good idea. Later, probably, it's a different way. Maybe if you are more famous, more popular, you can price it much more, even. Yeah. It depends on your name and surname, your popularity. I think so. Yeah, for example, I paint a rose, 5 minutes, for example. Yes, and I do faster and faster, and my friend told me, but why you want 350 crowns, 40, for example, 40 euro per, only for painting 3 roses? It's only 5 minutes. I said, no, it's not only job, this is talent. I was developing for many years, so it's not only like 5 minutes, because I show them how to do it, and then they have a problem. It's too much because it's only 5 minutes painting. Yeah, you can't say this. You can't. So better maybe don't show how many hours you spent. Actually, it took me 2 hours to make it beautifully. It's like maybe faster, yes, you do, and then you have to put some effort to make it, look beautifully. So it's not only 5 minutes. Actually, 2 hours was.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
that's true. I mean, like, you can also think about those people who restore arts in museums. They don't they don't live to work and make to create their own art, but they restore other people's arts.
Yes.
And they get paid so much money to do it because in order to restore those arts or valuable pieces of arts, they need to go to school. They need, years and years of experience to do so.
I didn't know. Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a hand up, but it's gone now. Hey.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, something was wrong with my phone. Yeah, the calculation example was interesting. I also got it up to 400. It's interesting when your art is more concrete. But for me, I'm an artist part-time. I usually write poetry and spoken words, but recently started to doing conceptual installations. So I don't know how to do the counting pricing in these two. Could you say something about that?
So you started doing conceptual what? Sorry?
Installations, like
Cons-
art piece in a gallery or something. I did one in December, so it's nothing more. It's just like putting an object, and there's an opening and so on.
Okay. So do
But I
you
don't know
create?
how. In that one, it was a community center, so they paid me like a one. They paid for the things that I needed to get, and they paid a one. How do you say, one time price, because they had a fixed price since it's a community center.
Mm-hmm. So
But
you also create the art that you install?
Sorry, what did you say?
Do you also create the art that you install? Or do you just...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it's not like I make something with my hands since it's conceptual.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I'm displaying a concept with using different objects. So and that was step one. So step two, gonna do it like a year later. So I did this in December, and I want to do it now in December again, which is make a live performance out of that piece.
Okay.
But the thing is, I don't know how to do the pricing since, like, let's say I'm writing poetry, I can't know how much time I spend on a piece, because sometimes I could write in 5 minutes. Sometimes maybe I write one line, 2 lines, then I leave it, then I come back to it. It's hard to estimate a time, so it's hard to know how much to ask for it. That's the poetry part. And the other one, the same thing. Maybe I get an idea and it's an ongoing process, or maybe it's okay, I get the idea and then I just do it, and it's not too much time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question. So for the poetry, you can think about yeah, it depends on the demand, I would say, of the people who read your work for poetry, because so you do written poetry, but I know some poets that also do like read their poetry, for example, on an open mic night. You perform it as well.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes.
So perhaps you can think about, well, one, again, how much time you spend. And I understand that some of them you write within 5 minutes, and some of them it takes days sometimes to perfect. But I would say as well, how relatable is that piece for your audience? Because I think the more relatable the piece, the easier it is for people to get, and more people will read it. I would say that. And for the conceptual installation, so I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with it, but I think I know what you mean. But you can think about, how long does it take you to come up with this concept? For example, like the live performance you were talking about, will it be just you, or will it be other people? Because if it's with other people, then you probably need some rehearsal, and that would take time, for example. And again, if you do it with other people, then your expenses would be higher. And of course, like the longer time you spend on an expertise, the higher you can charge yourself, because then you have a standing within that area.
So now, as a beginner, should I compare myself to other beginners if I see someone who's doing similar work, and then maybe ask how much they're getting and so on, or what do you advise?
Yeah, I would do that because I think conceptual art is not a very you don't see it
Not
often.
black and white with them. It's not the
So
black and white. It's hard. It's very blurry.
yeah, exactly. So I would do a comparison pricing for that. And for poetry, it would just be, you know, how long have you been working on poetry? Yeah,
Thank you, dear.
of course. Does anyone else
Uh,
have any last
yeah,
questions?
so sorry for interrupting you, Monica. We still have 5 minutes, so we can proceed with the conclusions. If there are any questions, as you said. I'll share also in the chat the evaluation form for our participants. So if there is something that you want to share with us, please, here is your chance. Make any comments for improvement for us. It will be nice. And Monica, I don't know if you have something else to add.
Yeah, if you have any questions or if you're not sure about something, you can always email me. I can put my email in the chat, or Dionysus, I don't know if you have my email.
I do.
Yeah, so you can always email me. I will put it in the chat as well. And I can get back to you on answers about finance or short form content.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you so much. I think that you gave us some very useful, actually, financial tips and also some practical tips that can we follow also in the future. I think that everyone will enjoy the training. And if there are not any other questions or doubts, we can close.
I would like.
Yes, please.
Sorry, I would like to say something.
Mhm.
I cannot sign the assistant list, so would you mind helping me with it, please?
Yes, I'm sharing with you again right now. And tell me if you have any problem
The thing is,
to.
I'm on my phone and I don't know why I can access to the chat, so I can see anything that
Okay,
you're sending.
okay. Can you just write your full name in the chat if you have access on that?
No.
Okay,
But
just
maybe it's like
please.
that, like it is it displayed on my, I don't know, on my window? Is it like that?
Yes, I think it's in the top of your window. If you see
Mm-hmm.
the chat. Otherwise, I have your name. And can you tell me your nationality, please?
I'm from Colombia.
Okay, that's cool. And your email is
B
mm-hmm,
L
mm-hmm,
E
BLD.
BLESON
Uh-huh.
11
Okay.
dot hotmail.com at
Okay.
hotmail.com.
Okay. That's cool. Thank you. I'll add your name in the participation list. So no problem.
Thank you, and thank you for the advices.
So anyone else that would like to add something before we close? Probably not. So thank you once again. Thank you, Monica. Thank you everyone for your participation and contribution.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a good
Thank you,
night.
everyone. Have a nice night.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.